10 clear signs your relationship is over. Stop ignoring them. Now we're diving deep into the messy, beautiful world of relationships today. Ever been stuck in a friendship or a romance where you just feel stuck? Like you're not growing, not vibing, maybe even being dragged down? Yeah, we've all been there. It's that gnawing feeling that something's got to give. That's what this is about. Knowing when it's time to let go, to make space for the good stuff, and to honor yourself in the process. And guess what? We're going to use some old school wisdom, Stoicism to be exact, to guide us. Think of it as your ultimate relationship compass, navigating the crossroads, when to say goodbye and embrace growth. So, first things first, Stoicism. It's not about being emotionless robots, okay? It's about figuring out how to live a good life, a meaningful life, even when things get tough. And a big part of that is choosing who you surround yourself with. The intro of the video presents the initial problem: feeling stuck, torn between familiarity and growth. Now, that doesn't mean you gotta ditch everyone who isn't a life coach, but it does mean being honest with yourself about whether your relationships are lifting you up or holding you back. The video explains the basic philosophy of Stoicism in the beginning, that you have to make tough choices, which includes choosing who you spend time with. Seneca, that Stoic superstar, was all about personal growth. He believed that to really live, you got to constantly evolve, push your limits. Now, if a relationship is actively stopping you from doing that, it's a huge red flag. The goal is to surround yourself with people who add positively to your life. It's not about having a million acquaintances, but about having friends who make your life better and help you grow. But let's get real. Sometimes it's hard to be objective, right? We cling to relationships out of habit, out of fear of being alone, or just plain loyalty. The video encourages some tough self-reflection. And that's why Stoicism is so helpful. It forces you to ask those tough questions. Why am I really holding on to this? True connections should make you feel like you could be better today than you were yesterday. It's not selfish to want to grow. Sometimes letting go of relationships that hold us back is the best thing we can do for ourselves. It's about being grateful for the lessons learned and finding the strength to move on. Drama detox, taking control of your reactions and building good vibes. Okay, let's talk drama. We've all been in relationships where the drama is thicker than grandma's gravy, right? And that's not healthy. Marcus Aurelius, another Stoic heavyweight, had some seriously good insights on this. He said, "You can't control what happens around you, but you can control how you react to it." The video gives some of Marcus Aurelius's wisdom on how to react to problems and difficult emotions in relationships. So, if you're constantly feeling jealous, angry, or just plain drained around someone, it's time to dig deep. Ask yourself, why am I feeling this way? What can I learn from these emotions? How can I react in a way that aligns with who I want to be? Maybe it's not about cutting the person out completely, but about creating some space, setting some boundaries. As the video said, you can create space, or making changes is the healthiest option. This point is not about avoiding problems, but recognizing when a relationship is pulling us down instead of lifting us up. Stoicism teaches us that living in harmony with nature, even if that means growing apart from people. In other words, it's okay if relationships change, evolve, or even end. And the key is to focus on building connections based on respect, understanding, and real support, which the video says are the kinds of relationships that last and make us better people. These are the kinds of relationships where we can grow, thrive, and find peace. Freedom from control, breaking free from manipulation, and embracing authenticity. Now, let's get into a darker side of relationships: manipulation and control. This is a huge warning sign. When you feel like you're being controlled, more than being a partner, that's a problem. It's time to talk about freedom and independence. As Epictetus, another Stoic rock star, wisely said, "Nobody is free who can't control themselves." The video includes Epictetus's ideas about freedom and self-control in relationships. True freedom means being in charge of your actions, your decisions, your life. So, what does it mean when your decisions, your thoughts, your desires seem to belong to someone else? That's a clear sign that something's seriously wrong. Manipulation can be sneaky, creeping up on you in subtle ways. The video elaborates by explaining the forms manipulation can take. Maybe it's constant suggestions that push you away from what you really want, or maybe it's more direct, like demands telling you who to be or what to do. But remember, real connections are based on respect and freedom. Stoicism reminds us that being in control of our own lives is crucial. And cutting ties with someone who's controlling or manipulating you isn't about being mean. It's about respecting yourself, your independence, and your right to live authentically. It's about taking back your freedom, the freedom to make your own choices, grow, and live by your values. The video encourages you to cut ties and break away from the strings in the unhealthy relationship to allow yourself the freedom to be yourself. Stoicism isn't about taking the easy road, it's about taking the right one. And true relationships respect our individuality and freedom. Harm versus help. Recognizing when a relationship is draining your energy. What happens when a relationship starts doing more harm than good? When spending time with someone leaves you drained, stressed, or feeling down, it's like walking on eggshells all the time, stuck in a cycle of arguments, and feeling low whenever they're around. Big warning signs, people. The video talks about how bad, unhealthy relationships feel and warns the viewers to be wary of them. Healthy connections are supposed to feel good. They should make your life better, bring you joy, and support you through the ups and downs. They shouldn't add constant stress or make you doubt yourself. Stoicism teaches us to live in harmony with ourselves and others, pursuing virtue and tranquility. The video emphasizes how important it is to keep relationships that help us be our best selves. So, if you find yourself in a relationship that pulls you away from peace and from being your true self, it's worth thinking about what the Stoics might say. They'd probably tell you to step back and look at the situation clearly. The video encourages the viewer to think through the problem by asking questions like, is this relationship making you feel good? Is it helping you become a better person? Stoicism teaches us to be aware of ourselves and to make tough choices that are good for us in the long run. As the video states, it's not about being mean, it's about knowing what's best for us. Sometimes that means moving away from relationships that make us feel bad. Good relationships have challenges, but they should also give us support, love, and help us grow. So, if you're constantly feeling bad because of someone, something needs to change. Respect yourself, demanding respect, and walking away from disrespectful situations. Another big thing is mutual respect. Without respect, there's no good foundation for anything positive. The Stoics believe that self-respect and respecting others were really important. This concept is expanded in the video with the idea that everyone has worth and dignity, and we should treat each other that way. So, if you're in a relationship where you're not treated with respect, that's a big warning sign. It's not just about feeling unappreciated. It's about your basic humanity being ignored. Respect is super important for any good relationship. It's what trust, love, and understanding are built on. If it's missing, you're left with a relationship that's empty and not worth your time and effort. But what if it's not that easy? What if you really care about this person? Relationships are tricky and feelings are strong, but Stoicism can help us figure things out. The video offers practical advice on what you can do to help the disrespect in a relationship. Stoics were all about being clear-headed, rational, and living by your best values. They tell us to look at our relationships honestly. Are we being true to ourselves by staying in a situation where we're not respected? If not, it might be time to make some big changes. That might mean setting clearer boundaries, having a serious talk about how you feel, or even realizing it's time to move on. Seeing things clearly, facing reality, and embracing truth in relationships. Stoicism is about accepting reality as it is, not how we wish it could be. The video introduces the importance of facing reality with the metaphor of taking off rose-colored glasses. This sentiment is expanded with the idea of seeing things as they truly are. So, what does this mean for our relationships? It means being honest with ourselves. Are we seeing our relationships for what they are, or are we holding on to fantasies? Sometimes, we might ignore problems or see people as perfect when they're not. But that's like living in a dream that's not real. It's okay to have hopes in relationships, but we shouldn't lose touch with reality. Embracing truth means facing the reality of our relationships, even if it's hard. It's about being honest about what's really going on, even if it's tough. The video highlights the benefits of facing reality by explaining that it gives us the chance to have real, honest relationships where we're loved for who we truly are. Stoicism isn't about being negative. It's about finding peace by seeing things clearly. It's about understanding that by accepting reality, we can make wise choices and live better lives. So, let's challenge ourselves to see our relationships with honesty and clarity. In truth, we find real happiness and love. Value alignment, protecting your core beliefs, and walking away from compromise. Compromising your values should never be an option. Your values guide you, showing you the right path to take in your life. The video asks the difficult question of what to do when a relationship makes us question those very values. What happens when someone asks you to give up what you believe in? It's a tough spot to be in, but it's important to pay attention to it. And you bet Stoicism has some great advice on this. The Stoics would say that giving up our main beliefs for a relationship isn't worth it. Why? Because our beliefs are what make us who we are. They shape our identity, affect our decisions, and determine how we deal with the world around us. Compromising on these beliefs means losing a part of ourselves, and no relationship is worth that. Being in a relationship that forces you to act against your beliefs might start with small things, but in time, these compromises can chip away at who you are. The video warns you of these compromises and highlights the importance of acknowledging them in your relationship. Stoicism teaches us that being true to ourselves and sticking to our beliefs are crucial for living a good life. So, if you're in a relationship where you're being asked to go against your beliefs, it's a sign to pause and think. Is this relationship helping me grow? Is it letting me be myself? Or is it holding me back and making me someone I'm not? Walking away from a relationship that makes you compromise your beliefs isn't failure. It's showing respect for yourself. Reciprocity rules, ensuring a balanced give and take in your connections. Now let's talk about reciprocity. It's like a balance between people in a relationship. It's about both sides giving and getting equally. The video presents the concept of reciprocity by describing it as balance, and goes on to set up the question of what to do when it is off. But what happens when this balance is off? When you're always giving and hardly ever getting back? It's a situation many of us have been in, and it's not great. Reciprocity isn't just something nice. It's essential for healthy relationships. A relationship where one person always gives and the other only takes is out of whack. It can lead to one person feeling resentful, tired, and unappreciated, while the other might feel dependent or entitled. The Stoics had a lot to say about relationships and the importance of mutual support. The video references the importance the Stoics placed on mutual support in relationships. They believed in helping others, but not at the expense of our own well-being. For them, a good relationship was one where both people supported each other in being good and living well. So, if you're stuck in a one-sided relationship, think about Stoic principles of balance and mutual respect. Are you respecting yourself by letting the relationship be like this? When your relationship feels like one person is doing all the giving and the other is doing all the taking, it's a sign things are out of balance. But don't worry, it's possible to fix it. It starts with talking honestly and setting boundaries. The video states that both people need to contribute emotionally, spiritually, and materially for a healthy relationship. Seeking balance in relationships isn't selfish, it's necessary. Abuse, recognizing the signs, and leaving for your own safety and dignity. Onto a tough topic, abuse. Any form of abuse, physical, emotional, verbal, or psychological, is a clear sign to leave the relationship. Stoicism, a philosophy about dignity, self-respect, and valuing the human spirit, firmly rejects abuse. The video brings in the idea of abuse and immediately denounces it as violating basic human principles. Stoicism teaches us to recognize our worth and maintain our dignity, especially in tough times when our values are violated. Stoicism urges us to take action out of respect for ourselves. Abuse crushes dignity and self-respect, seeking to control and instill fear. The Stoic response to abuse is clear. Seek help and leave the relationship. Leaving an abusive relationship is tough. It takes courage, strength, and often support from others. The video emphasizes that asking for help isn't weak, it's a sign of strength and self-worth. Stoicism doesn't just advocate leaving abusive situations. It also emphasizes healing and reclaiming dignity. The video references the Stoic idea of taking back control of your own actions. While we can't control others' actions, we can control our response and move forward. Healing from abuse is a Stoic journey, reasserting control over our lives and rebuilding in alignment with our values. Communication breakdown, addressing the root causes and finding common ground. When communication in a relationship fails, it can feel like hitting a big roadblock. You try to talk things out, but it's like talking to a brick wall. The video relates the common experience of trying to communicate with someone who is not receptive and describes it as talking to a brick wall. You can't seem to find common ground, and understanding each other feels impossible. This isn't just a small problem. It's a sign that something deeper needs fixing. And guess what? Stoicism, with its timeless wisdom, can help us figure it out. Good communication is like the heartbeat of a strong relationship. The video stresses how important it is to communicate in relationships and how the two affect each other. It's how we share our needs, thoughts, and feelings in a meaningful way. Without it, we're just stumbling around in the dark, guessing at what the other person is thinking or feeling and often getting it wrong. The Stoics knew the value of clear, honest communication. The video mentions that the Stoics mentioned how important communication was. They practiced it in their lives and talked about it in their teachings, saying how important it is to listen, understand, and respond with wisdom and kindness. So, what do we do when communication falls apart? First, we need to realize that failed communication means there are deeper issues at play. It could be a lack of trust, old grudges, or simply different ways of talking. Stoicism tells you to approach the problem with a clear mind and a big heart. The video advocates taking a Stoic approach by assessing with a clear mind. We need to look at ourselves first, see how we're contributing to the breakdown, and try to be as honest and open as possible. Marcus Aurelius was big on using reason and logic to deal with life's challenges. He'd probably say we should do the same with communication problems. That means taking a step back, trying to keep emotions out of it, and figuring out where things are going wrong and why. Fixing communication takes effort from both sides. Inner peace, protecting your tranquility, and choosing relationships that uplift. Picture this: a relationship where both people really listen and understand each other. When you're in a relationship that's supposed to make you happy, but instead, it feels like a constant storm messing up your inner calm. It's tough, isn't it? When connections meant to make life better end up making you feel uneasy, this is a sign that we need to take a breather and think about what role this relationship plays in our lives. Stoicism says peace of mind is super important. It teaches us to keep our inner peace even when life gets crazy. The video places emphasis on keeping inner peace a priority in Stoicism and how a healthy relationship can and should support that. The Stoics believe that being calm inside is vital for living well. So, what do we do when a relationship keeps disturbing our peace? First, Stoicism tells us to step back and look at things calmly. The video emphasizes the importance of looking at the situation with a Stoic lens. Ask yourself, why does this relationship upset me? Is it the other person's actions, old fights we never resolved? Or maybe it's how I react and what I expect. It's important to figure out where the problem lies. Once we know, we can think about what we can change. Can we talk openly about the issues? Do we need to set some clear rules? But if, after trying hard, the relationship still messes up our peace, maybe it's time to think about whether it's worth keeping. This doesn't mean giving up too easily. It means knowing when a relationship doesn't match our values and our search for peace. Conclusion: deciding to step back from a relationship that disrupts our peace isn't easy. It takes guts, honesty, and sometimes letting go for our own sake. But remember, Stoicism says it's not about avoiding all problems. It's about building inner strength to face them calmly. The video uses the analogy of facing a problem head-on with inner peace as a way of summarizing its ideas. The relationships we keep should help us find peace, not ruin it. They should make us stronger, happier, and bring us joy, not constant stress. So, if a relationship keeps disturbing your peace, see it as a chance to practice Stoic wisdom. Think, evaluate, and choose the path that leads to peace. The video encourages you to choose a path that brings peace and promotes the Stoic ideals in relationships. Let's surround ourselves with people who add to our peace, not take away from it. In doing so, we honor not just Stoic ideas, but also our journey toward a calm, meaningful life. Our relationships shape our lives. So let's find the balance, seek truth, and make sure our connections bring us peace. Key takeaways: a Stoic checklist for healthy relationships. All right, let's wrap this up with some key takeaways, your Stoic checklist for navigating relationships. Prioritize growth. Surround yourself with people who inspire you to grow and become a better version of yourself. Control your reactions. Don't let drama dictate your emotions. Focus on controlling your reactions and choosing how you respond. Embrace freedom. Seek relationships that respect your individuality and freedom, not those that try to control or manipulate you. Value mutual respect. Demand respect in your relationships and be willing to walk away from disrespectful situations. Face reality. See your relationships clearly, without rose-colored glasses. Embrace the truth, even if it's hard. Protect your values. Never compromise your core beliefs for a relationship. Stay true to yourself. Ensure reciprocity. Strive for a balanced give and take in your connections. Leave abuse. Any form of abuse is unacceptable. Seek help and leave the relationship. Communicate clearly. Address communication breakdowns with honesty, clarity, and empathy. Protect your inner peace. Choose relationships that help you find peace, not those that disrupt your tranquility. And that's it. Remember, relationships are a journey, not a destination. There will be ups and downs, but by applying these Stoic principles, you can navigate the complexities of human connection with greater wisdom, resilience, and inner peace. As we go our separate ways today, I hope you carry these Stoic ideas with you. Let them guide you through the ups and downs of relationships, knowing that the journey to peace, wisdom, and goodness is something we're all on together, one step at a time. Remember, our relationships shape our lives, so let's find the balance, seek truth, and make sure our connections bring us peace. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you in the next video. Stay stoic.